and welcome to Bedson and Coffey Unfiltered,
where we will be discussing fitness, lifestyle, healthy eating habits, relationships, gas station performance pills, answering romantic queries. You have anything else, Tyler? Is there anything? Do you need help with anything right now? Because I feel like I'm in a position where I can help you with it.
I mean, and everything else that we come across as we go. But you know what it's going to be, right?
It's going to be unfiltered. With them. Now they just think they've died for like half a second.
You know, that's fucked up.
It's real fucked up.
But then like afterwards, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to go skydiving?
You know, I've been asked to go skydiving like 10 times in my life, and I've just never done it. It sounds like something like...
I want to see, I would go skydiving to watch you skydive because I just want to see you get tethered to that guy and have to sit in his lap while we climb to altitude.
God. Is that the only reason?
That's the main reason.
So you said you've been bungee jumping.
I've been bungee jumping,
okay,
yeah.
And how'd that go?
I was young. I was with my jiu-jitu coach. And
was it like a team building activity? Like what?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
Just like for fun?
No, we were just like on vacation or some shit.
Okay.
But like everybody was going up there and just kind of like they would fall back or whatever because you were tied like to your torso. And he's like, jump off head first. And I'm scared, but like I can't not do it, because they're watching. So I get up and I ask the guy, I'm like, can I dive off head first? He's like, you ever done this before? And I was like, no. So I had to put the bungee cord and stuff between my feet, cross my legs, and just dive off. It's kind of like there's, I don't know, it's like when you dream you're falling and there's nothing. Yeah. And then you feel it slowly start to pull as you get to the bottom, and then you stop for a second, and then right back up, and you bounce for a few times. Did you watch the Derby?
You know, this is the first year I didn't watch the Derby. I was like, I took a nap.
Did you? And
I woke up and I was like, oh shit, yeah, the Derby was on. And I don't know, maybe it's just like because we lived in Kentucky for...
I think we don't think about it,
How many years? I've been here since I've been like 7 years old.
Yeah.
So after so many years, it just kind of loses its...
Yeah, you take it... I don't think you think about it as much because it's...
Back in school, you remember they made us like do like activities. Like Derby activities. Like they'd be like, all right, make your own horse. And
What would you... If you had a racehorse, what would you name it?
Gizmo Fletcher.
That's a solid name.
Yeah.
Gizmo Fletcher.
It just sounds like a horse that would win. He's got like a little bit of speed, It's like the underdog though.
Could you feed him after midnight with a name like Gizmo though?
Ooh. Like a gremlin?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he might actually turn rabid and like kill people or something. I don't know. Yeah. They'd have to put him down and then he couldn't race. What would you name your horse?
What would I name my horse? If I had a racehorse, I think I'd name it My Face. Because I'd want to see like all the old women in their hats down on the front row screaming, come on my face, come on my face. And I mean,
I'm surprised nobody's done that yet.
Yeah, I seen one named Hoof-Hearted.
Hoof-Hearted?
Hoof-Hearted.
I get it.
And then he won. So they were like, Hoof-Hearted in the winner's circle. And it's like, it's kind of...
Wasn't me. Yeah.
Hey.
No, I remember there was a dude that used to go to the gym back in the day, and he was pretty jacked. Like I guess he used to be a jockey though. And then he was just like decided he didn't want to be a jockey anymore. So he just started using steroids and he got like huge, but he was still, short. But
yeah, they don't do much for height.
So afterwards he was just a horse trainer because he couldn't, ride the horses because you got to be under a certain weight.
Sure.
But I always thought that was interesting. And used to be a jockey, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to get big.
One of my clients, he was on a survival reality show on Netflix, and his father, I do believe it's his father, but he just retired, and he shared a post of it on Facebook. And his father was like a very successful jockey. Like it was just, it's really cool, but it's something you never really, you don't like, who knows a jockey? Like it's not like it's a big, like not a lot of people do it.
I feel like jockeys get wild.
I feel like they'd have to.
I feel like they party
But like
hard.
it listed like all of his wins and how many millions, he had won in racing as far as like the team winnings or the horse winnings or whatnot.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't think I've ever actually, there was at one time, there was a guy that was a jockey downtown. I remember I was with a friend downtown and he was like chain smoking cigarettes and was trying to like kill him. So long story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was like stalking him downtown. It was weird. It was different.
He was stalking the jockey?
No, the jockey was stalking him. You remember getting stalked by a jockey? Like the jockey just like is like has a vendetta against you,
And he's wearing them little boots. And you just hear sneaking up on you.
See, yeah, that would be like a horror movie. It was like, have you ever seen Leprechaun? The horror movie?
Man, like I wasn't like Jennifer Aniston in one of those. She was, I think, like she was a kid.
I just remember those movies because it was so funny because it was Leprechaun. It would just be like, it'd be like they had one, it was called Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah.
Horrible
Leprechaun
movie.
in the Hood.
Leprechaun in the Hood. And it's just like, Leprechaun come out of the trees, like trying to hunt for gold. And it was just a messed up movie. Taking people's teeth.
Yeah, I feel like that could cross real quick into being like not politically correct.
Oh, absolutely. This
Like,
is completely.
well, no, I'm just talking about this conversation. I'm not talking about the movie. The movie, I don't even know about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's so many thoughts that race through your mind whenever you picture a leprechaun running around like Compton.
Oh, yeah. He's not supposed to be there, first of all.
It'd throw you off.
He's Irish.
It'd throw you off.
And he's wearing green. But he's got knives. So,
So the only thing stands out there would be just him being Irish.
Yeah.
I mean, the green and the knives is fine.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we talking about today?
So we are approaching. We've said to hell with segues anymore, folks. So we are approaching summer. All the kids are out of school, so families are going on vacation. And Tyler and I both, with our clients, we try to help them as best we can when they have vacations, when they have things come up, and teach them how to approach that to still be able to enjoy time with their families, to be able to partake in all these events and so on, while being reasonable and still not veering off their course. Now, so I'm sure you've got a lot of clients right now that are getting ready to go on vacation or are on vacation.
Everybody, it seems, is going on vacation, or they've got like 4 planned, and I'm working around it, trying to get them in shape for one and then get them through the next one. So, I think that's one of the most important things, though, is learning how to vacation and live a lifestyle while still getting results, or at least maintaining.
Yes.
Because it's really easy to go on a vacation and just go on a free-for-all.
It is. And you would be surprised like how quickly you can put several pounds on.
Oh, yeah. You can go and do a 12-week cut and erase that 12-week cut in a week or two if you let yourself get out of control.
Absolutely.
So what I try to tell people to do is I give them a little bit of vacation guidelines. So I'll often have people contact me and they'll be like, hey, I want to work with you, but I got to go on a vacation in 3 weeks. Should I start now or should I start later?
Let's start now.
And I'm always say, let's start now, because I can help you through that vacation.
Yep, exactly.
I can get you in a better spot. It's a good opportunity to learn. We can actually teach you what to do and how to handle it, because that's valuable information. That's stuff you can do years and years down the road.
Indefinitely. And that's only going to, whenever it's lifestyle clients, obviously, and I feel like you and I have a very similar approach to this, but you want to give them the tools to help them eat healthy throughout life. Dieting isn't like a temporary thing. Like, monitoring your diet and what you eat, if you plan to live a healthy life, is a lifelong thing, and it's learning to eat healthy rather than just, you say the word diet and people, there's just negative stigma to it, but your diet is anything you're eating. Your diet might consist of fast food and beer.
Yep.
That's your diet. Your diet consists of anything you're consuming. So, but teaching them how to eat, for their needs, for their goals and so on, and how to adjust in those cases, when they're gone.
It's all about creating a lifestyle. And
very much.
Teaching them how to make the right decisions in the right moments by putting together a meal that's a healthier choice, and that can be situated pretty much wherever you go. Like, I've had people go on all-inclusive vacations. I've had people go to different countries. I've had people go just, on a road trip, and it can be done just about anywhere. You just have to have a decent know-how and a plan.
Yeah.
So let's set an example, let's start off something easy. Say you're going out on the lake for the weekend, and you don't want to pack all your, cold chicken and rice. It's just kind of, it's not fun to go pack your chicken and rice on a boat. Okay, that's fine. that's whenever you can do a bunch of easier options, right? So say your meal is chicken and rice. Well, what I might do for somebody in that situation is something like a sandwich.
Easy. Yep.
Yeah, you know, like a Thomas Bagel thin or a Thomas Bagel or some Ezekiel bread.
I'll use the Dave's Killer Bread sometimes
Oh, that's
too.
a great one.
Dave's Killer Bread, you can even get like there's a white option in it that people tend to like the texture a little better.
Yeah, it tastes great. It's
Dave's
great
Killer
on
Bread works good.
macronutrients. I think it's like 15 grams of carbs. Slice.
It's and I like Ezekiel bread. I like Ezekiel bread as toast. I like to toast mine. But for a sandwich, I kind of like the Dave's Killer Bread a little better. It's got a little softer texture, and the Ezekiel bread is a little more, it's got a little more bite to it. It's a little more firm.
It's a little spongy, in my opinion.
And you have to keep it refrigerated, like for shelf life at home. Obviously, it's going to be fine if you make a sandwich and take with you for the day. But, if you leave it out like normal bread, it'll go bad.
Yeah, Dave's Killer Bread's, I think, a great option. And then Thomas Bagel thins. Those are easy options. I think they're 25 grams of carbs for a bagel thin. And you can put some deli turkey on there, some deli ham. I always suggest getting your turkey and ham, though, from the actual deli.
Yes.
The reason for that is because if you go get it on the shelves or like in the the refrigerated section, look at the ingredients. It'll be turkey, but then it's got 15 other ingredients to keep it fresh.
Exactly. It'll have a bit more preservatives and stuff to give it shelf life in that package and so on.
But if you go to the deli, the ingredients are turkey breast and salt, which is much better for you. It's probably going to taste a lot better.
Yeah.
And you can use that on your sandwich. Then you can get, I always tell people to get like Sargento cheese or something of the sort, but you can go ahead and put some kind of cheese on there. I usually tell people to get like Swiss or provolone. That are a little bit lower in fat. But you can get creative with it.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, and the sandwich fixings and stuff, the lettuce, tomato, onion, whatever you want, those are negligible on calories, and they're just going to be, it's not much different than adding the veggies to your meal.
You can add lettuce, tomato, mustard, a little bit of light mayo if you can fit it in there.
Easy. You could even so if you're looking at your meal, like let's just say you're looking at the macros on your meal, and I've got this much fat. Well, you could use that cheese. You could use some avocado on it.
Yeah.
You could even do like olive oil mayo or something. Essentially you're adding fat with those.
Yeah.
Which do you like? Or if you have room in there and you've got enough fat, you can have a little of each.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you like.
Hell.
If you're just trying to make that match that meal.
Man, I've even had people do a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I've had them do a protein shake on the side. So, 2 slices of Dave's Killer Bread, some natural peanut butter, some natural jelly, about 50 grams of whey isolate or however much you need to cover that protein content. Bam, you got yourself a great meal right there, real easy to eat.
Something that I'll do sometimes too in those cases is there's these low carb wraps. So like if it's a meal that has lesser carbs, you can do those, and those have a good bit of fiber in them.
Oh, yeah.
And those are a good option. And it makes, a lot of times it's a little bit more palatable because they think, well, I'm getting something really nice. I'm getting this, whatever. And it's a little bit more fun for them.
A good one that I've done with that is actually smart is I'll get people to make wraps, and I'll do a little bit of 2% fat shredded cheese, a little bit of that Boathouse Farms ranch.
Yep.
That's got like real low fat in it.
Yeah.
And then you just grill that all together, wrap it. Take it with you. Man, that's a phenomenal meal. It's so simple too. And people don't think about stuff like that, but you can get creative. And like I always say, if you're going somewhere, talk to me. Let me know ahead of time because I can help you.
Yeah.
I put some of these meals in people's plans daily, but if you're going on a trip,
depending on their schedule, for sure.
It's you can get around anything. Another good one, say you're going to lake, rice cakes.
Super easy.
You can do savory rice cakes. You can make rice cakes into a sweet dessert. You can make rice cakes just about anything you want.
So I'll touch on this real quick too. As far as carb sources, for some reason, people are scared to death of fruit. They think, okay, well, this is sugar. This is sugar. And they won't think about that. But then like they'll be away. And it's like, well, I had cake or I had this, I had the other. It's like, well, I mean, come on. But they worry that the fruit is gonna ruin them. So fruit is different than juice.
Yeah.
Fruit comes in its own little package with fiber and all these micronutrients and so on. Whenever you juice it, now that's just sugar and water.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's similar to drinking a soda even. But the fruit, again, like you eat an apple, there's fiber there, there's micronutrients and so on that's going to slow the digestion of those carbs. And it's going to, it's going to be more similar to eating a normal carb source in that case. And having some fruit in a meal like that, whenever you're away, you can make the macros fit, and it's not so bad. And I had someone ask me about it the other day, and I'm like, you ever seen them have to knock down a wall to remove a super obese person and their bed be surrounded by fucking apple cores?
Oh, hell no.
No, you won't.
No.
So we're going to be all right.
Yeah. Fruit's a great option there, man.
It's super easy.
Like, think about this, okay? Say you got a meal. It's 40 protein, 70 carbs, and 10 fat. Mm-hmm. You could easily do 2 slices of Dave's Killer Bread
exactly
right
what I was
there.
about to say. Make that sandwich we talked about and have a side of fruit.
Yeah, have a side of fruit. You could even throw in some pretzels or even something there.
Yeah.
If you don't want as much fruit, pretzels are a great one.
Yeah. Man, have some hummus for your side. Yeah. Like for your fat. Yeah.
For the rice cakes, you could do caramel rice cakes, apple cinnamon rice cakes, and put some peanut butter on them and some banana. Or you could do, they got that tomato basil rice cakes or the white cheddar. And you could even put some avocado on there or a little bit of those Laughing Cow cheese wedges I've had people do. You can get pretty creative with it and make some pretty decent meals.
But the key to all that, as you were saying earlier, is understanding how to swap things out and make them fit. So like whenever I lay out a plan, I'll lay out their example meal there so you have what is absolutely optimal for your goals. And then we have like adjustments that we'll make if we're on vacation or whatever else. But I'll include the macros on there too.
Yeah.
And I know you do as well. But what that'll do is the more we do this, the more you're going to understand how to adjust inside of that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, I'm away or I'm here or whatever. Okay. And there is a learning curve there. And if you don't know how to swap things out like that, that's what we're here for. And that's how we can help you with that. But once you begin to adjust like that within reason, you can have a little bit of wiggle room on those type of meals when you're out.
It's all about flexibility. That's the thing. You got to be able to do things like that. And sometimes it's not, you can't pack meals, like say you're going overseas.
Sure.
And it's hard to go ahead and pack all your
food. And in those cases, you might not be able to even find certain foods that are on your plan that you're maybe used to,
So I remember one time I went to an all-inclusive vacation in Mexico. And I was kind of worried because I didn't want to go ahead and just go on a free-for-all. I like to put decent stuff in my body. That's just kind of how I've been. I would try to teach other people how to do the same. But I remember the first day I got there, my God, it was so hard to find anything healthy. Mm-hmm. And I had to learn how to do it. So I know how hard it can be for some people to learn how to do things whenever you're at like an all-inclusive. Because I'd be sitting at the pool, and I remember the only option they had at the pool was burger and fry or hot dogs. Mm-hmm. And that's what everybody was getting. So the first day I'm like, damn, is this all they have? Like, what am I going to do? Is this what I'm going to have to eat every day? Well, I started exploring a little bit, checking all the restaurants they had. And I found this place, and it had grilled chicken skewers, and you could order rice. And I remember I figured out that each chicken skewer is about 1.5 ounces of chicken. Okay. So I'd order about 4 or 5 of those and a little thing of rice. And I would make that my lunch pretty much every day with some fruit.
There you go.
And simple thing, but I had to go find that, and then the buffet ended up having a ton of different stuff like that. And I was able to kind of make up meals as I went or kind of choose what I wanted and healthier options. Like they had some thin sliced steak and some corn tortillas. Yeah. And I would go ahead and just put some thin sliced steak on the corn tortillas, some fajita vegetables on there, a little bit of salsa.
There you go.
And make some decent meals.
And the corn tortillas are normally lower calorie than the flour.
Oh, yeah. They have less fat. So normally zero fat with corn tortillas. That's a good thing if you're going out to like a Mexican restaurant. Yep. The corn tortillas with the fajitas, always a good option there.
Yeah. They're going to be. So like you have to have some sort of, normally in the flour tortillas, you got shortening or lard or something. Whereas the corn tortillas don't have as much fat content due to that.
Yeah. So what do we got this weekend? We got Memorial Day weekend.
So everybody's going to be grilling out, cooking out, all these things.
Listen to this after, but for your future, whenever you're going anywhere, because I'm going to Lake this weekend myself. Yeah. So we're going to St. Louis, and we're going to be there all weekend and celebrating somebody's birthday and whatnot. So I'm going to bring my food with me though.
Sure.
And that's just how I like to do things. As far as everything else though, there's always drinking involved when you go on a lot of these trips. So I think a lot of people always message me and they're like, how do you go about drinking to stay in shape? And it's a hard one for me because, like, honestly, drinking and fitness just don't go together.
Yeah.
But I also understand people like to live. Not everybody wants to be sober all the time. it's just people enjoy go drinking alcohol. That's just kind of the society we're in, and that's what we do. So what do you suggest whenever people are kind of wanting to go drink?
Well, I mean, if you're cutting, just stick with drugs. Like, just do drugs. Don't drink, just do drugs.
Hey, that's a fair
You know,
thing
it's
to
like
say.
there's less calories, you know, and depending on the drug, you might even burn more calories. You might get super energetic. I'm fucking kidding, people.
It's funny though,
So,
because
like,
I've found a lot of people in prep. You know how they all go to like festivals, and some of them come in shredded. I don't think that's like the healthiest thing to do. I probably wouldn't be running a MDMA while I'm on trend, but some people can get by.
So as far as with alcohol content, like, think of it like you would something else. So consider, you know, like with any kind of food, like let's just say we're looking at beef. There are leaner cuts of beef and there are fattier cuts of beef, you know, lower calorie content versus higher calorie content. Same thing with alcohol. The lowest calorie content alcohol is going to be clear liquors.
Yep.
Vodka, gins, things like that.
Yeah.
So having that, you can even have that with like a low cal or sugar-free mixer. You can come in pretty well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I want to say like a shot of vodka is maybe 70 calories.
I think you're about right.
So here's an easy way of figuring that. Ethanol, oddly enough, has 7 calories a gram. So it's kind of like a fourth macro, but that's aside from the point. But what you can do is you can take that number and divide it by 4. And that'll give you how many grams of carbs you can remove in place of that if you choose to.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of, you know, okay, well, I'm going to have 2 drinks, whatever. This is something you might want to plan ahead because after you've had a couple drinks, you might not have your wits about you to make any kind of adjustments.
That's the issue. I think a lot of people start overdoing it. It kind of, that's like, you know, people start drinking and then they're like, well, I need to go get fast food because I'm hungry. It's
That's
just
right.
Bad judgment.
And well, that also, something I was going to say earlier, is something that I'll do when I'm away is if I'm on vacation and say I want to enjoy myself, I enjoy dinner more than I do some of the other meals.
Yeah.
So I'll go light for my breakfast, for my lunch or something, so that I have more calories that I can spend on my dinner.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not going to live that way. You know, if I'm on vacation for a few days or something, then I can make those adjustments pretty easily. But having, reserving some of those calories from earlier in the day and saving them for later will allow me to have a little bit bigger dinner. I can have something I like a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that works for me, and I enjoy that. You know, or if I know I'm going to have bigger meals, I'll reduce my overall number of meals.
Yeah.
So say I'm eating 6 times a day. If I know I'm going to have a big meal here and I'm going to have whatever, a couple of drinks, maybe I have 4 meals that day.
That's something I do as well. And I think
works
that's
really well.
a great strategy. Like
It's super easy.
If I know I have to go out and eat and I'm going to have to like go to like a wedding or something like that, I'll usually just go ahead and cut out 2 meals and replace it.
Yeah.
That always, I wake up the next day and I'm usually about the same weight or, you know.
Yeah. What I was explaining to a client the other day is like, say, you know, whenever you're looking at it, okay, we've got 5 meals. All right. Let's just say, okay, in those 5 meals, we've got, just for instance, 2,000 calories. Yeah. So that's 400 calories a meal. All right. Well, if we break that into 4 meals, now we can have 500 calories in each.
Yeah.
If we break that into 3, we have even more. So, you know, you can just, at the end of the day, you know, we make that match, or at the end of the week, you know, you adjust and so on. It's like balancing your checkbook, but you can't have every meal that you normally would out like that and expect to stay the same weight. You're gonna climb because those are going to be higher calorie meals.
Exactly.
But you know, with the drinking, you know, honestly, the clear liquors with like a low calorie or sugar-free mixer is always going to probably be the best option. You know, whenever you start looking at things like normal beer, that's going to have more calories. Wine is going to have a higher sugar content. It's going to be higher. Where you really rack up the calories is like the frozen mixed drinks and stuff.
That's always tell people. I say
They're a ton of sugar.
When you go on vacation, I mean, I understand that those are kind of like they're
the novelty thing.
The novelty thing, but
yeah.
The less of those you drink, the better off you're going to be, because that's where I see people gain the most fat is because, you know, one of those drinks sometimes can be 80 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
And you drink 6 of those a day, That's a lot of carbs real quick adding up.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's the one? You remember the Fat Tuesday drinks? You ever go to like? You remember those?
Which one?
Like at the bars and stuff, they had like the fat. It's like a big row of like slushy machines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got just 3 sheets to the wind in Pensacola Beach, Florida. I was like 19, and I don't remember how in the hell I was getting them, but I was getting them.
Yeah.
And I was bad drunk, and I wind up. I'm drinking like I'm 19. You remember?
Oh yeah, you just chug drinks and yeah.
And then I wind up on the dock. I don't remember what happened in between, but I'm on the dock with like 4 or 5 girls, and I'm talking to them, and everybody's joking around and carrying on. One of them starts kind of getting, nudgy and like bumping. So I'm like, it's fucking deep out here, and I'm not the best swimmer. Like, we need to calm down. And I'm a little drunk.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, those type drinks with the fruit and the sugar and all that stuff's gonna be a ton of calories.
That's where, yeah. Like, so my drink of choice whenever I have to drink or I'm like going to do so is usually like a vodka with soda water or like a diet juice.
Yeah.
And usually that's my go-to. Like, so for example, let's go ahead and say I do a vodka with diet lemonade.
Sure.
It's a great option right there. Still pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You can get I think there's even like 0 sugar orange juice now. You can make a screwdriver.
You can get like you can get diet cranberry and have like a vodka cranberry.
I don't
There's
understand these
things.
days why people would choose like the sugar version of something in those cases. Like I'm like, there's a sugar-free version of pretty much anything you can imagine these days.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, like if you're worried about like artificial sweeteners and you want something more natural, you can. You can make your own.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'll make lemonade and sweeten it with stevia. You could buy monk fruit if you wanted. Like, you can make that stuff.
What was something I tried the other day that was actually really good? One of my buddies introduced it to me. You know, those new sparkling ice drinks they make, the Starburst flavored ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so you mix that with a little bit of vodka. It's pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure.
You get one of those pink Starburst drinks and pour you 2 shots of vodka in it. You're in for a good day.
Oh yeah,
and that's all you need. And that's 0 calorie mixer right there, and you got your shots of vodka in there, and you're good to go. But like we said, it's those sugar drinks is what gets people. Like you start adding the sugar juices in there. Like you order a full sugar Sprite or full sugar Coke and mix it with your Jack Daniels. That's where
you have a few of those, man. That's a ton of calories. And something too that I don't think people are aware of. So I'll lead into this with a little story. This lady, she came up to me it was before I had my gym. She was at another gym, and she said, "All right, since you know so much about this, tell me." And she already had kind of a cocky attitude. She's like, "So I went out with my friends last night, and I had X amount of drinks, and we had fried shrimp and French fries, and I woke up this morning and I was lighter. Explain that." And I said, "You come see me tomorrow and tell me what you weigh, and we'll talk about it."
Oh yeah. She was dehydrated.
She avoided me the next day.
Yep.
I said, "Hey, sweetie, how you doing? Talk to me. What's happened?" And she's kind of looking. I'm like, "What'd you weigh today?" So here's my point. Alcohol has a diuretic effect. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you ever have, like, you'll see a lot of people, they'll have several drinks. You get up the next day and you've got that frontal lobe headache. That comes from dehydration.
Yeah.
Okay. So one, you want to try to avoid having so many drinks that you're going to feel shitty the next day, but having water throughout the day too, making sure that you're hydrated, that's going to make a big difference. You're not going to feel so crappy the next day.
Yeah, I always try to tell people
some salt and some water throughout the day.
How about 8 ounces of water with every drink you have?
Oh yeah, drink in between it. Yeah,
yeah. Actually, it actually gives you gets you drunk faster too. I don't think a lot of people know that because it helps alcohol move through your bloodstream.
It does. Yeah.
So you can actually drink less and get better effects. So I mean,
yeah.
That was a good way to save money back in college. Is you drink as much water in between as you could, and you could drink 3 drinks instead of 6. But that's a one thing too to stay away from. And I didn't mean to mention it's beer. Yeah, that is probably one of the harder ones that I think people start building like a gut with, especially those dark hoppy beers, the craft ones. That is one thing where I cannot make somebody lose weight. If they are a beer drinker and they are like drinking a Guinness 2-3 times a week, I'm like, man, this is hard. Yeah, that's where you start getting the belly fat that sticks. Mm-hmm. They're a lot heavier. They have a lot more dense with calories. Oh yeah, big time. And I mean, the darker the drink, like we said, the more calories usually you're going to get from it. So you think of Guinness, you got your craft beers, your like German beers, stuff like that.
A lot of like the Yeah, like the craft beers and stuff like that.
I've got quite a few clients who drink Mick Ultra, and that's kind of their beer choice, and they stay pretty lean.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a beer that's a little bit on the lighter side, Mick Ultra is normally a good choice, but it kind of tastes like piss water a little bit. Doesn't have much taste.
Did you used to drink beer?
Back in college, yeah, but we were all Natty Light and
Natty Light,
bro.
I grew up drinking Bush Light.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the official beer of stepdads.
Official beer of stepdads.
That's right.
Man, no, that's like, I feel like any of the light beers. My dad always make fun of me for drinking them when I was in school.
For drinking a light beer?
Well, we used to live in Germany. In Germany,
that's beer.
That's beer. That's
beer.
That's what my dad drank there because he was military, and that's what they drank.
Yeah.
So American light beers are kind of, it's not something.
Just water.
Yeah, it's basically water. It's watered down beer. It's what it is in reality.
Pretty much.
Light beer is watered down beer.
Yeah.
What are some good other drinks we could think of? Hard seltzers.
Yeah.
There's some pretty decent ones there. They got like 70 to 100 calories.
Yeah, I think you can get like lower cal options in those.
Yeah, they've got some decent ones now. I think some fitness companies are making seltzers.
Didn't Alani Nu make
Yeah,
one?
they did. And I heard they taste like horrible, but you know, I mean, still people probably buying them.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Imagine if they perfected that flavor though, because those Alani Nu drinks, so the energy drinks are pretty good. So imagine if they like turn that into actual seltzer.
Holy shit, dude! I was in. Yeah. I want to say I was in Tennessee, and Monster is making alcohol monsters.
Jesus.
Called dude. Like I think it was the only thing you could buy in there was catalytic converters. Like you could come in and just present a catalytic converter at the cashier and trade it for X amount. I think they had a sign.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, copper. I think you could trade copper for
these
it.
monsters.
Yeah,
hey, that's
but no shit, man. No shit. Like I'm telling you right now, you get some cat and have 3 or 4 of them, the drywall don't stand a fucking chance.
It's crazy to think. I think Mountain Dew's making alcohol drinks too.
That was it. Mountain Dew made it. That was it. The Monster ones had it, and then Mountain Dew had it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, dude! If that makes its way up here to Eastern Kentucky, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Fit to be tied.
There's some alcohol drinks where I'm just like, I'm surprised that people like they're legal. Did you see that thing?
You remember the Four Locos?
Oh yeah, we talked about those before. I don't understand how those got banned pretty quick.
What, did they have like caffeine in them or some shit?
Pretty sure it's caffeine and like a copious amount of alcohol, like very high content. Like I think it was like 8% alcohol.
Tremendous.
Yeah, something kind of wild for being just a drink you can open by the can and buy a 6-pack of. People were drinking 6 of them, I'm pretty sure.
Do you see now like the TikTok thing? Like these kids have found out about Mad Dog 2020.
What's Mad Dog 2020?
Kyle knows what the fuck Mad Dog 2020 is. Look at my man. Kyle knows about that.
Oh God! All right, explain.
It's like, God, it's like a wine kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's like a wine cooler. Okay. And they had all these different flavors and stuff, but it's pretty high alcohol content.
Shit.
And you got these little kids buying it now, and it's they're gonna learn.
Do you remember Bud Light Platinum? They just basically made Bud Light, but it was just like a 9% alcohol or whatever the hell it was.
The ice beers have more too.
Yeah. That's crazy.
We sound like a couple fucking alcoholics right now.
Yeah, well, it's because,
Yeah, we're talking about bodybuilding.
Yeah. This is what you shouldn't drink.
Yeah. Do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah. All right.
Dogs, 18%.
18%. Yeah, I knew Kyle would be on that.
How big is the thing?
You've seen them.
Does it come in a 6-pack?
Yeah, that's it right there. No, it's bottles, man.
Oh, my God. It looks like it tastes like juice. That's dangerous.
Oh, dude.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Do you remember whenever they had that thing where you could like inhale your alcohol and then but it was killing people, so they like took it away?
That sounds like a terrible fucking idea.
Oh yeah, but it was like supposed to be like a 0-calorie wave, like ingesting alcohol, so people were like huffing it almost. But I'm pretty sure it caused like some people would have like brain aneurysms, so they took it off pretty quick.
You remember that 1,000 Ways to Die show?
Oh yeah,
that's a great show. This guy was an alcoholic, and he had to have some sort of throat procedure done, and he couldn't like drink alcohol, for a period of time after, and he's telling his wife, listen, we got to do something. And she gave him a wine enema. Okay. And it soaked through the walls of his rectum, his colon, whatever, and went straight into his bloodstream. And he died of alcohol poisoning.
What the fuck? Mm-hmm. Why would that be your decision to do that? Like, why would what?
I don't know the guy personally.
I'm glad.
You know,
Well, we can't ask him questions either, so it's kind of just disappointing in general.
how bad do you want alcohol that you're going to tell you? Listen, so I got an idea, baby. Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Kudos to her for standing beside her man.
Hey, she
You know,
was
she
trying
was
to get him
ride
what
or
he
die.
wanted.
She was ride or die.
Maybe she was through with it. She's like a wine enema.
That's it. Let's just fucking go with it.
Yeah.
I want it to be Mad Dog 2020.
Hey,
I hope it was Mad Dog 2020.
Mad Dog 2020.
Mad Dog 2020. Get you some of that this evening. Have it
See
as
if
your
they sell it.
pre-workout.
Pre-workout.
See if they sell it. They sell it.
Do you remember when people were like taking shots of like fireballs like pre-workout and they were like that's what they were doing?
Yeah,
That was a fad for a little bit.
Well, somebody finally happened across the video of Arnold taking a shot of Jim Beam or Jack Daniels backstage.
Oh yeah.
Alcohol's a vasodilator.
Yep.
Alcohol's a vasodilator. So, yeah, it's going to open up blood vessels. But yeah, I can see how people would misconstrue that and try to.
Dude, who was it? God.
There is sometimes that in powerlifting, sometimes they'll do that before deadlifts.
I remember back in the day, it was Arnold Classic. There was a pro women's physique Olympian, and I guess the coach she had at the time like made her have a bunch of these like vodka wine drinks, where he was making her mix like red wine with vodka. And that was like how they were drying her out. But I remember like there were videos of her like passed out outside of a hotel and shit. And like it was reckless. And I remember like.
That's a hell of a diet.
Yeah.
I lost 14 pounds in my driver's license.
Jesus. But I was like amazed because there's people that still do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I think that did come from like Ronnie Coleman because the night before show he would do vodka and all that. And
well, now I've used like a couple shots or a glass of wine to assist with diuretic effect. Mm-hmm. I'm not having somebody just get, tore down drunk.
Well, and I'll get torched, yeah. I mean, like a glass of red wine. I've had some of my ladies do that the night before show because I think it does help kind of calm some nerves.
It'll help calm nerves and it'll get that last bit of water off of you. It'll help.
Or like for some of my guys, I might have them have a shot of tequila or vodka. Mm-hmm. It's more of a rare occasion than anything. It's a risk. So
tore up on tequila.
Oh, dude, you never know what people do. You give them one shot, they might take 10.
That's like just putting straight Mexico right in your system.
There you go.
Yeah, make you wild. You just jump a fence, knock a woman down, knock a woman up. Jesus, just get wild.
But what else we need to discuss today? There was what other type of trips? I have a guy going to Tokyo. And I'm helping him on a trip. That one's wild to me because that was a new experience. I kind of had to do a little research for that one. So Tokyo, I had to make him a plan to still do something decent. And like basically, we're not training while we're there. Okay. He's just going to go ahead and do like some walking and hiking or anything in the morning and just kind of explore the area. I have him breaking his fast normally at about 11 a.m. And I'll have him go ahead and do like a brunch or something like that. And then he'll eat 3 meals a day, 2 of more clean options, 1 of whatever he wants. And we'll do 1 meal at 11, 1 meal at about 3 or 4, and 1 meal at about 7 or 8. Yeah. And that's how we're going to go ahead and get him through there in Tokyo. So he can enjoy the trip. Absolutely. But actually stay lean. Mm-hmm. So we gave a bunch of options on stuff like, breakfast being something like chicken and a salad with some like dressing on the side. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you'll be able to get some really good sashimi and stuff too. Oh yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of good options. The big thing about other countries, I feel like the portion sizes are a lot. Absolutely. Oh man. And I feel like the food in a lot of cases is kind of cleaner. Oh yeah. Like, so a good friend of mine, he has family in Italy and he was talking about it and he was talking about like eating the pasta or the breads. He's like, I don't feel bloated the same way. It's like, well, yeah, there's no like, it's not like genetically modified, like there's not GMOs and a bunch of crazy stuff. And it's probably, much more simple, much more real food. Yeah. Well, I'm in the US. Remember that Super Size Me documentary they had? Mm-hmm. How much food you could order. It was just like absurd. Oh yeah. But, you go to another country and you order the same meal and it's like almost just what you should be eating. Yeah. And that's one of the easier things I feel like if you go somewhere else and you order a meal, you're going to get something that's more built for that person. Mm-hmm. Like you go to Japan, I don't see many like obese Japanese people. Yeah, I really don't. No, and they're eating like full fat foods, mm-hmm. like, not like, it's like him talking about Italy, like they're drinking wine, they're eating full fat cheeses, but if you notice, they're more active too. They're walking around a lot more. They're getting a lot more movement in. And then
I think it's a big difference in culture and a big difference in food quality in some of those cases, unfortunately.
I think that's a big thing about staying lean too, is how active you stay when you're on these trips.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's easy to go on vacation and just, lounge the entire time and eat.
It is. And I think too, a lot of people think like vacation will revolve around food for so many people. Like they'll get done eating, like, well, where do y'all want to have lunch? Where do y'all want to have dinner? It's like, we just ate.
Exactly.
Well,
it's designed like that. You're wanting to try all these new things. The way we schedule our vacations now, me and Laura, like we went to Hawaii last year and we did 10 days there. And the first 5 days we were there, we scheduled all sorts of activities and extra active things that we were going to do because we knew that we were going to eat more when we first got there. Well, because we were so active, we were still eating more of that food. And then the second 5 days, we were taking more rest and relaxation. But we kind of already ate everything we wanted to eat. So we were just, grazing here and there, getting smaller meals and just relaxing. So we kind of got all the eating out of the way whenever we were being more active.
Yes.
So that the rest of the trip we could relax and, kind of just eat as we wanted to.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. I think that's a really good thing to do. Try to kind of go get your bigger meals whenever you first get to the place, plan your bigger dinners, but also plan your bigger activities. Like if you're going to go scuba diving or if you're going to go on a big hike around the island or something like that. Like we went on this one hike there and God, I must have burned a ton of calories.
I'm sure.
But it set me up to eat more food during the day.
Sure.
Which was great because we had some bigger dinners. We went and had a nice steakhouse. We had a good pizza for lunch. Mm-hmm. But I was able to do stuff like that and not gain a ton of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It and considering like it's the same as anything else. Like when we carb cycle, we eat more carbs on lifting days than non. Mm-hmm. It's the same concept there. You think about your calorie expenditure and how many you're taking in. In those cases, I would probably, like you said there, I would have those meals afterward because I wouldn't want to get real full and feel lethargic, especially scuba diving and stuff.
I do a lot more protein fat whenever I'm on trips and try not to do as much carbs. If I do my carbs, it'll usually be my first meal because I know I'm going to be moving around a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then my rest of the meals during the day will be more like steak and avocados. And
sure. That's a good point for this weekend too, with like all the grilling.
Oh yeah.
If you,
that's a good tip. Is a grilling out is a.
It is.
You can do some cool stuff with it too.
You can, and so say you go to several events or something, avoiding carbs. Like say I've already had one meal, whatever, and I've had plenty of carbs in it. Maybe the next time I don't have the buns, I don't have the carb sides, and so on. I have the burgers and without the bun, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting protein. I'm getting some fat too. But I can avoid throwing a bunch of carbs on top of that fat as well.
Yeah.
And I can adjust my calories that way fairly easy.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. When you're grilling out, that's one thing we haven't talked about yet too. You can do all sorts of different style things and kind of stay away from the carbs. Like you could still do a burger with some cheese and you could use like a lettuce wrap.
Oh, easy.
That's a great one. Hot dogs, you could do that. Hot dogs, even if you just eat them by themselves.
Yeah, or with mustard. Mustard has no calories hardly.
There's some pretty decent options too for buns nowadays that are like gluten-free options or low-calorie options. So we've got so many different things you can do. And then one thing I like to do a lot more when I'm grilling out is like big servings of grilled vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
Like zucchinis or like skewers with like zucchini, onion, peppers. Man, you eat more of those. Oh, yeah. And then eat your meat. Like do some grilled chicken or chicken thighs.
Oh, yeah. I like grilled cabbage, too. Oh, yeah. Like I've got like the big griddle, and you can throw veggies on there and just kind of move them around a lot easier. Yeah. But I like grilled cabbage and all that stuff. Like and that gives you, you can get full and you still have, very minimal calories as compared to a higher carb side.
That's also if you want to do chips or any type of thing like that, they do have like baked lays nowadays. Baked lays are actually pretty decent macros.
I like them.
I think they taste good too. I think I feel a little better eating those, honestly. They've got all the flavors of them now. They got baked Cheetos. They got baked cheddar sour cream. They got baked everything.
It's kind of simple, but not a lot of people consider it. There's no food in nature that is high fat and high carb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one ingredient food. Yeah,
there's no one ingredient food that is high fat and high carb.
Yeah.
There's not. So whenever you start having those meals, and those meals are really high fat and really high carb also, you're going to feel really lethargic. Like your body's not going to care for that very much. You know, so if you have one that's a little bit higher on one side or the other, adjusting the other side, like these meals that we're talking about here, if you have the grilled, you know, burgers or steak or whatever, it's going to be more fat. And you have a side of veggies with it, you know, you're not going to feel quite as, you know, bloated or lethargic as if you had a bunch of carbs with it too.
It's true. Oh, that's one thing is if you guys ever have any questions too, or like I said, if you're trying to start this lifestyle and you're worried because you're going on vacation, don't be. It's something I've worked with, and I know Eli's worked with hundreds of people, and you're going to go on vacations all throughout your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's learning not just to take on this vacation, but you know, consistently doing this and learning how to enjoy events and so on. Even if it's not a vacation, it's a family event.
The
it's
amount
whatever.
of weddings and everything I've gone to, and I've still been able to maintain a lean structure or even still get progress through. And it's something I like to spread that knowledge to other people as well.
I actually made a video. Katara and I went to Hilton Head Island last year, and I made a video of my eating throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a single prepped meal that day just to show what I had done. And you know, it's not that bad.
No, you can make some easy choices. And if you guys ever need help with that, ask questions.
Absolutely. You know, and that's the thing. And I tell all my clients, you know, when we're doing this, like I'm working for you, you know, I'm you know, it's no longer, these are your goals. These are our goals. We're working together. So I want to give you all the tools that I possibly can to help you reach that goal. Cause again, we're working together. Yeah. So, you know, I'm always a message away when it comes to that stuff, and I'll get to you as quickly as possible.
Yep. I think that's it for today, my man.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
This has been Bedson and Coffey Unfiltered. Thank you guys for listening.
Make sure to go follow us on social media.